And that is first and foremost, Joe-san.
Joe-san.
Now that's the extent of all my Chinese. So the rest of it's going to be in English. So what you're seeing here is actually our brand new logo for the group. I mean, keep in mind that only 2 meetings ago, we actually had a name. Now we actually have a logo. And we had several nice options to choose from, but Lauren Louie, the daughter of Tom and Sharon Louie, was kind enough to volunteer and put this together. And as a result, I'd like to get Tom and Sharon up here and to accept a certificate of appreciation for her daughter. This is an effort of lots of hours of work.
Your face is getting red.
The word is the word.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're still
Still in the word.
Still in the words?
Maybe that's enough.
well, either forward.
Yeah.
Forward.
Yeah. This is good.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Implementing the use of the logo. First of all, how many people have gone up to our new website that looks just like this? Can I get a raise of hands? Okay, so we have at least 50 new best friends because that's how many people have already gone on the website. So I encourage you to hit the site, and I'll give you a slide in terms of what are the content, so that way you could see the reason why. But the reason for this is there's the logo here. This is the business card that we're putting together. This is going to be our new registration table that we're going to be putting together. And this is going to be the new podium sign that's going to go in front whenever we do presentations. So I think if you look very carefully, what do you think this tree is?
Fingerprint.
Exactly. The family tree with the individual fingerprints. I think Lauren did just a wonderful job. So this is a very rare group in the sense that you guys actually choose the direction of this club. You know, we've run 4 surveys so far, and every time you responded, we listened. So you guys actually voted to help grow and build this group. 54% of you responded to the survey asking the question, do you want to see us grow? Do you want us to survive? You know, can you help us? So 91% voted to support the Bay Area Chinese Genealogy Group with dues, meaning a donation. 77% of you voted to provide $5 or more for each session. So what we're doing is that as part of the fundraising, so we could continue to grow, you know, because it's $5 per meeting, that's $25, you know, a year. But we're doing a special promotion that if you pay your, by February 15th, it'll be just $20.
Yay.
So this is voluntary. You know, if you want us to continue to have these meetings, please help as you can. But what does your donation support? You know, so it's nice that we have the money. You know, because I think you heard me say before, all of 2019, 4 people held this group together in regards to funding. So we're trying to widen that a little bit more because, you know, we only had 8 people in my living room. Now there's more than 8 people here. We've actually grown from 8 to 102 in 6 meetings in terms of the people who come. So thank you for that support. So the new website, you know, it takes bandwidth, it takes hardware, it takes software and a lot of time. You know, we have a great speaker set up for the rest of the year, and, you know, we want to provide honorariums. They're not huge, but we thought that at least we could pick up their tolls. You know, we could pick up their, you know, gas expenses. You know, they do have expenses coming here, and we just want to reimburse. So for supplies, you know, there's office supplies, you know, there's potluck supplies. water and plates and forks and spoons, don't magically appear. I mean, I learned that because I was talking to the LA group, and they had people, well, you bring forks, you bring spoons, you bring plates. What happens is this guy brings 5 spoons, this guy doesn't come up, and they have no plates. And, the next person brought 150 forks when they only needed 6. So we thought we, better kept the core, potluck supplies, and then of course, we have to pay for cleaning supplies, after everything's done. The other thing I'm looking for is there's a lot of great independent, Chinese and Asian movies that's being produced. So what we would like to do is use some of these dues, to rent those movies so we could show them. These are movies that normally show in movie theaters, but they've agreed to consider showing it to our group. And of course, there's food. If there's any money left over, especially for special events like like Moon Day or Chinese New Year, if you find a pig down there, or if you find mooncakes down there, I thank you in advance. So the point is that all you give us is all going back to you. We still remain 100% volunteer driven. Is Gail here? Gail Chong? Okay. Jeannie, are you here? Okay, can you stand up, please? Between Gail and Jeannie, that's your events manager. Is Doug Joe here?
Still downstairs.
Doug, can you stand? That's the man responsible for all our IT, and he is our brand new treasurer. And my humble job as executive director is just herding chickens and kittens.
Cats.
Oh, and Bruce. Bruce is in charge of all the cleanup and the facilities. Bruce, can you stand up, please? The people that just stood up are the ones that put together this entire meeting. So please, when you have an opportunity, thank them. So, this is the first time we had money. So what we want to make sure is we're checks and balances and financial transparency. Leona, are you here? Can you stand up, please? She offered to volunteer to be the volunteer auditor. So not only do we have financial transparency between the planning committee, but one of your own is going to be auditing our books. So that way you know that we're all up and clear. We established a joint bank account just for security purposes. So one person goes, the other person's still there. Well, Doug and I are the signatories as executive director and him as treasurer. And we also even have spending approval limits. So anything that is less than $24.99, all we have to do, we buy it, we notify people, and then it's all good. But if anything is over $25, it has to go to a majority vote. So we are taking care of your money the best we can. So the website, bacgg.org. This is not really a website. What we put together is a forum. There's some elements in there that, of course, is very informational in nature, but what we wanted to do is create something that's a bi-directional conversation. All the links that are up there all have comments. So we ask questions like the direction of the group. We ask what speakers you want to see. We put up, all sorts of, research tips. So specifically, keep in mind this is a forum, not necessarily a website. But on our homepage, you have every single post, in newest order. So far, as of yesterday, we had 49 people go on our site looking at 213 pages. So thank you for keeping engaged. The news portion, that's where all the communiques are going to be. So what I'm going to be doing is still sending out an email to all of you, but that's just mainly going to be like a sentence. And all the communiques are actually going to be posted on the website for you to look at. All the policy changes, like with the membership and the financial transparency are all there. And then there's also a help wanted, because we still need some critical volunteers to help grow our group. Community news. This has been phenomenal because between community news and events, what we have is that we gotten 32 events on the calendar. So if you look at January, February, and March, you could do something every day, in the Asian community. And then under the community news, that's where you have the individual event and a photograph and a description. So that way you can get more information, the web links and if there's any cost. But the majority of what we have here is free. It's from the Locke Foundation, the classes at the Family History Center, classes that are relevant for the California Genealogy Society, the Chinese Historical Society, and also the Roots Group. Resources. So far we've already had 2 Chan special interest groups. So all the information that we've talked about from the Chan special interest groups are now on the web for you to look at. And I encourage you, if there's any, I'm sure there's a few Wongs here, there's probably a few Lees here. You guys, of course, could create your own special interest group. All the group photos are going to go under the resources, and then also research tips. So Tony King wrote something that says, how do you read a Japu and not know Chinese? So that's a very good one. Sharing inputs, these are all the blogs, and all the questions we have. And then the about portion, talks about our goals, who's who in the zoo as far as the group. And then if you want to pay your membership, you can do it online. So there's several ways to do that. So part of the survey, we asked, do you want to go on field trips and where do you want to go? 98% of you guys want to go on a road trip. So of the 98%, 46% of you said that you're willing to spend $30 or more. So it looks like you really want to go on these road trips. 73% of you wanted to go to the Chinese Historical Society. So what we did is that we're looking to set up our July meeting at the Chinese Historical Society, where there's going to be several components to it. It's not just going to be go there and randomly walk around. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the Historical Society, and they're going to have a docent-led tour. In addition to the docent-led tour, there is an exhibit there they have with little miniatures, and that's done by Frank Wong. So Frank Wong agreed to come to the Historical Society to speak on how we put those together. And he spent most of his life in Hollywood. That's how he put a lot of that together. So you can understand what the exhibits are and what inspired him. But then, once we're there in Chinatown, all of us have been to Daifo. All of us have gone out for food. But this tour is going to be different. And that tour, we're going to walk around to look at the historical buildings within Chinatown and understand their history. And one thing I added, they had to show us all the restaurants that we are supposed to be going to that also has history. So there's a food component in there. So what we did is we negotiated a special package just for this group. So for $30, it would be the museum and the Chinatown tour all inclusive. And also as a special for the group, they also granted us a free 1-year annual membership for this donation of $30. Okay, so now I need to take a poll, because usually we have our meetings on Wednesdays. Why Wednesdays? Because again, the survey said 87% of you are retired, so Wednesdays are not a big deal. So what I want to do is I'm going to ask for a show of hands. So I want to know who wants to go on a Wednesday versus a weekend. And if you want to go on a weekend, a Saturday or Sunday, because there are some logistical things, because like on a weekday, we need to, start after the traffic ends, and we need to get out of Dodge, before the traffic starts. But on a weekend, we have basically all day. So can I get a quick show of hands? Who wants to go on a Wednesday versus a weekend? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Who wants to go on a weekend on a Saturday or Sunday?
I'll probably go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, And there's an overachiever that she raised her hand twice. Okay, so the vote is a weekend by majority. So now I have to ask you, do you want to go on a Saturday or you want to go on a Sunday? Who wants to go on a Saturday? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Who wants to go on a Sunday?
Awesome.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So the vote, we listen. We're going to set this up on probably the third Sunday. Bruce, can you remind me?
Okay.
The third Sunday, and then there's going to be more information.
July 19th.
Okay? Yeah, July 19th. So put that on your calendar, and you're going to see this in the notes. Help wanted. This group only survives with volunteers. You've heard me say this before, but when there are 8 people coming to my living room, it's really easy to manage a group. As you can see, we've built a lot of infrastructures. You know, we have a name, we have a logo, you know, we have an organized facility here. What we need is some technical support, specifically on the WordPress. This is our data, our website forum. If there's anybody that has any type of IT or web skills, please help us. Because Doug is really good in what he does. I provide the content on the site, but we pretty much hit our max. We can't do anything else because we just don't know what we don't know. So please, if you have any type of website experience, get with Doug, raise your hand up, or get with me, and we could do that. The other thing is that you could tell that this group runs by feedback. Everything we do is because of the surveys and the polls that we take. Right now, there's only 4 people on our planning committee. 4 people drive the day-to-day. If you want to be able to help drive the strategic direction, you know, things like, we're looking at speakers. Who are the speakers we want to get? You know, we want to put together new policies or programs, you know, for the group. It's all about the vote. We take the general survey, and the 4 people in basically this executive committee make that vote. If you want to help, and it's not a lot of work, but what we really need is your feedback. So please help, and just contact me, and I'll be downstairs afterwards. So I want to thank you. I mean, this is probably one of the biggest groups we have, and it's probably because of David Lei. You know, and the great content that he provides. So, Gung Hei Fa Choi. And also, keep in mind there's going to be a group meeting, a group photo in the lobby. So before you charge downstairs, because Lucy, my wife, made, for example, dungu and with oyster sauce.
Oh,
You know, there's a bak gai. You know, there's no mei fan.
thank you.
There's, wait a second, if I keep on going, you guys are going to be charging down. So no, so forget about the menu. After this meeting, go out to the lobby and we're going to take a group picture like we traditionally do. So without further ado,